that all of us has a moral and a civic obligation to follow federal orders, and I stand by that. But there have been a lot of national injunctions, universal injunctions issued to try to stop you from doing your job. Where were these judges when people were breaking the law and coming into our country illegally? Were any of them speaking up and issuing national injunctions against the Democrats?
I don't believe I can be specific about every single judge, but these judges that now are trying to stop us from enforcing our laws, I don't believe or recall them.
Can you
being
think,
vocal then.
Madam Secretary, of one single solitary federal judge who, when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues, not all of them, but many of them,
Gentleman's time has expired.
Secretary or Senator Murray went on over about 2 minutes, so I'm going to take a
Well,
minute.
Senator Van
Well, if
Hollen
you
just got
can-
shut down.
Yes,
right
if
on
you
the
can,
zeros.
if you can finish your question.
Can you recall one single solitary federal judge when President Biden and my Democratic colleagues were letting 20 million people come into the country illegally?
I don't recall.
Can you think of
Thank
one
you.
single solitary judge
you.
that issued
more
a
than-
national
Thank you.
injunction
This is more than
to
one
stop
question.
them?
No, I can't recall
I
one.
can't either. If there weren't
you,
for
Senator
double
Kennedy.
standards
Madam
around
Chair,
here,
Okay.
Madam
there
And
wouldn't
so
be any
Senator Peters-
standards at all, Madam Secretary.
Thank you.
Committee,
Thank
Madam
you,
Chair.
Senator Kennedy.
I'd-
Senator Peters.
Madam, let me just say, let's apply the rules fairly. Senator Van Hollen was asking tough questions, but was shut down pretty immediately when his time was expired. Can we at least have a commitment, Madam Chair, that senators on this committee will be allowed to submit questions for the record,
Absolutely.
and that you will
Yes,
Absolutely.
ask the secretary to answer those questions?
Absolutely.
yes.
Senator Peters.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary Ohm, good to see you again.
See you.
Secretary, I certainly appreciated your commitment during your confirmation hearing before my committee on fully staffing the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Detroit and Canada. As you know, one of the busiest border crossings in all of North America. It's scheduled to open this fall. It's going to be a big deal. But my question for you is, how are preparations going for the opening of that bridge? Obviously, your department will play a big role in that opening.
Yes, we're excited about it. We're thankful that the construction has been completed and that it's working well, and we're excited to coming up there and having the celebration with you.
Do you have the resources and personnel in place now?
Yes, we do.
Good. I also appreciated your commitment to fully building out the Northern Border Mission Center, which will be located at Selfridge Air National Guard Base to coordinate all that goes on along the northern border. How is the build-out of that center progressing, please?
It's going well. It's on track. I haven't heard of anything that has been delayed, and I can get you a more detailed update, though, if you would like one.
I would. If we could follow up
that'd be
after this hearing, I would appreciate
You bet.
that. As ranking member of the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, I have sent you 9 letters since you have been sworn in as Secretary of Homeland Security. So far, I've received only 2 replies, and quite frankly, one of those was completely unsatisfactory. And while I understand you've had a busy start, like you have a lot on your plate, including travel, responses to congressional oversight requests are a priority. And I think you hold that view, but we're not seeing it being demonstrated, unfortunately. So my question for you is, when can I expect responses to these letters? And can you commit to getting me responses certainly before our budget hearing, before his GAC coming up?
Yes, absolutely. Sir, I was unaware that you had that many letters out yet. I know some of the letters you requested had a lot of data to gather
Yes.
and information, and so that may be to delay on a couple of them, but we will get those gathered and get them to you. As you know, when I came into this role, we had a backlog of letters from senators and congressmen up to 4 years, where the previous administration did not respond to any of you. That was a universal complaint I had from Republicans and Democrats.
Well, we want to see that change. So
Yes.
if we could get this back, these letters back as quickly as possible, I'd appreciate that.
You bet.
As you know, Madam Secretary, Congress spent years creating CISA, clarifying its mission and ensuring that the agency can employ the most skilled federal employees to protect our federal cyber networks and critical infrastructure from attacks. During your confirmation process, you stated that you wanted to get CISA back on mission. but quite frankly, you were very light on specifics of what that actually meant. Now that you've been in your position for several months, could you explain to us in detail what getting CISA back on its mission means? And I mean, with some specificity, which offices and programs in CISA do you consider to be off mission, and which ones do you consider to be on mission?
Well, as you know, CISA, under the last administration, got involved in being somewhat of the role of the Ministry of Truth. They were defining what was misinformation, disinformation. They were out doing election security missions, what were censorship, and deciding what was truth and what wasn't truth, and we have eliminated those functions within CISA. CISA was created to be an entity that supported small and medium businesses and also critical infrastructure,
Yes,
our electrical grid, our water systems, that are vulnerable to hacking attempts and influence from foreign countries, but enemies of the United States of America. So we are
Right,
building out to those.
and I agree with all this. I just
Yep.
limited time here.
Yep.
I agree with all that, and that is the central focus that it has to continue. But I want to clarify, because you talked about misinformation. I've heard this a lot.
Yep.
Certainly, I don't want to have any agency putting out misinformation. But CISA had 15 full-time employees assigned to countering misinformation mission. That's 15 employees out of 3,000 employees that work at CISA. And my understanding, and I think you mentioned it, those 15 people are not doing that anymore. So is CISA still not on mission? Is it still?
It's getting there. We don't have our Senate confirmed leader of CISA yet. We're looking forward to that, and the
But
president's
that doesn't have to do with
cybersecurity-
mission. I mean, why is it not performing a mission? Because my frustration is
Why is what not?
why do you say it's off mission if the unit that was
back-
doing that is gone?
Yeah, it's back on mission, but we still have silos to break down between our
Yes.
intelligence agencies. We still have communication systems that have to be built so we can share information. I shared during my confirmation hearing that one of the most alarming things to me that happened to learn was that when Salt Typhoon and Volt Typhoon happened, that we knew we'd been hacked, we knew who we'd been hacked by, but we had no idea how to stop it.